Right, it's time for some expert advice on the TV license fee from Richard Goodwin, who is a tech journalist for over 10 years, which is longer than I've been doing this, so this should be good quality advice. Hi, it's me again. Yeah, and like I said, I'm on a really popular website here called knowyourmobile.com. And this article was written by Richard Goodwin, who's been a tech journalist for over 10 years. And he is the editor and owner of Know Your Mobile, so a powerful man in the media industry. And he has put an article on his website this month, and it's called, "Do you need a TV license to watch Netflix? Let's find out." So I would imagine it's not getting a lot of hits, this website, but it probably gets a lot more hits than my website does. I'll concede that. No one goes on ChilliJonCarne.com or tvlicense.stop.co.uk, which I have. Although tvlicense.stop.co.uk does all right, but it's mostly questions I get through there. No one bothers reading it. They just straight send me an email, ask me a question. Thousands I get, but that's not the point. So he's going to tell us all we need to know about the TV license fee and what we can and can't watch. So you can forget everything you've learned from me. You can forget all the good work that Black Belt Barrister has done, because this guy, he's got you covered. Let's have a look. If you're in the UK and you only watch Netflix, you do not need a TV license. This applies to any on-demand or online streaming platform. But if you do like to watch BBC iPlayer, you will of course need a TV license. On top of this, if you watch any live TV or record Sky, Virgin, Freeview, blah, 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 you will need a license. So yeah, he's done his homework. He knows the basics. That is there, and it's near the top of the article. It's in bold lettering. You get a point for that. Because I like to grade these. I'll go through all the ones that I find and I give you a score out of 10. And at the minute, doing all right, ain't he? Right, what else has he got to say? Let's see if we can find some mistakes on it, because I bet there is some. Similarly, the most commonly used streaming applications, ITV Hub, All4, YouTube, Amazon Prime Video, now Sky Go and BBC iPlayer, will also require that you have an active and paid for TV license to watch them legally in the UK. And this is the law. So if you get caught using any of these services without an active TV license, you will get fined. So he was batting a good 8, 9 out of 10, wasn't he? And now he's on 0 out of 10. You do not require a television license to use YouTube, Amazon Prime, ITV Hub, All4. As long as you only watch on-demand programming. You can watch live stuff on many of those things. We'll come back to YouTube in a minute because that's a bit of a grey area. You don't need a television license as long as you only watch the on-demand catch-up stuff. If you watch anything live, you do. Not mentioned at all there. So it is confusing, right? And this is a tech editor for a website, and he's obviously done a bit of homework, and he's confused about it. And TV licensing love that it's confusing. They want people confused, because the more confused people are, the more TV licenses they'll sell, because people don't want to risk being on the wrong side of the rules, do they? So this guy needs to do a little bit more homework, in my opinion. Now, he mentioned on their YouTube, and you legally can't watch that in the UK without a TV license. Well, you're on YouTube now, and you can watch all the YouTube you want without having a television license. The only dodgy bits there are some TV channels do broadcast live on YouTube, like GB News do and Sky News do. If you want to watch them live, you need a license. But you can watch live things on YouTube. Like if I go live, and that might happen sometime, you can watch that without a telly license, because I am not a television channel. I'm just a bloke from Essex sitting in his mum's dining room with a bit of green fabric behind me. You can watch me live on YouTube without a TV license. So he has messed up there, hasn't he? And he's done good SEO, because I found it, which means other people can find it, right? So if you type in, "Do you need a TV license to watch Netflix?" into Google, many people may stumble across this, and now they're getting the wrong information. So basically, if you live in the UK and you do the following things, you need a TV license. Watch, record TV on any channel. Yeah, that's correct. No problem. Watch live streaming on services. Okay, yeah, he's obviously updated that. So let's go back to the other bit. Hang on. Similarly, let's go to use streaming platforms. Blah, blah, blah. Will also require that you have an active and paid for TV license to watch them legally in the UK. So I don't know. Maybe he's just made this because the TV license is in the media a bit at the minute. It gets a lot of hits. I know that. I make a lot of videos about the telly license. I get a lot of hits. And now he's got that bit there, and then this bit there completely contradicting it. Watch live on streaming services. Okay. I don't know. I don't know why I bother talking about these articles sometimes. I really do not. As for how the UK authorities check for active TV licences, there is a variety of ways this is done, including huge, sprawling databases, agents prowling the street in vans kitted out with detection equipment, and random checks on houses. Let me just correct you, but what was your name again? Let me just correct you a bit there, Richard. Okay. There is only one way they can check if you require a television licence, and that's by sending a goon to knock on your door and ask you in person. There is no detection equipment. It is a myth portrayed by TV licensing to scare people into paying for something they may not need. National database, a huge UK database of approximately 31 million licences and unlicensed address. Agents use this as a starting point, blah, blah, blah. Well, they would. They know all the households in the UK and they can just check who's got a licence and who hasn't. But it doesn't mean they don't require it. Well, it doesn't mean they do require a licence just because they don't have one. And the only way they know is to send someone to the door to ask. If your home is listed on the database, your details could be passed over to an officer who will call round your home to investigate whether you have a TV licence or not. Yeah, that is true. And the investigation goes just like this. They knock on the door and you open it, you go, hello. Hello, I'm from TV licensing. You don't have a telly licence. Do you watch telly? Can I come in and have a look? That is their investigation. They're not going to stand there with some aerial thing going, oh, you got the telly on in there. They can't possibly know. They can't possibly know. Think how many ways there is for you to access live telly now. How many services and devices you can do on it. It is physically not possible to detect that. They ask you. Now, if you open the door and they say, oh, I'm from TV licensing, you just go, no thanks, close the door. That's the end of their investigation. There's nothing else they can do. They don't have any powers of entry. They're door-to-door salesmen. They call themselves enforcement officers or visiting officers. They're not. They're door-to-door salesmen. They don't have any powers. Look on the TV licensing website. They'll tell you they're not police. They're not bailiffs. They can't put their foot in the door. They can't force their way in. Just close the door, say no thanks. Investigation is over. Ridiculous. Detector vans. There is also a fleet of detector vans that can detect the illegal use of TVs. Again, if these catch you, an agent will call at your door and likely issue you with a pretty hefty fine. I'd like to see where his evidence for this is, because I've been in this zone for a while and I have not seen any evidence of detector vans. Know how I know there are no detector vans? Now, I'm not saying there's not vans with TV licensing written on them that did drive about and did park up, but there was no detection equipment. They just used to scare people into thinking that detector vans existed and you must buy a TV license. They couldn't detect anything. And again, think how many ways you can access live TV. On your phone, on your tablet, on your computer, on your telly, on your fridge now. You know, how can they possibly know if you've got the All 4 app open or the Sky Go app? How could they possibly know? It is not physically possible for them to know. And I know this for a fact, because if you look at every prosecution that's ever been brought around for a TV license offence, not one of them ever has had evidence submitted from a TV license detector van. That's that simple. They have no van. Because otherwise, why would they not be using them to prosecute all these unlicensed people? It's because they can't. It's not possible. All the prosecutions come about from their visiting officers or their goons or their door-to-door salesmen, whatever you want to call them, by you talking to them and dropping yourself in it. If you don't do that, there is no investigation. I'm not saying you should watch stuff you shouldn't be watching without a license. I never say that. But that's the only way they would know if you did. If you're caught watching TV or any of the above mentioned services without a TV licence, you can get a maximum fine of £1,000 plus any legal costs and or compensation you may be ordered to pay. When you factor in the cost of a yearly TV licence at just £159, it probably isn't worth not having one just in case you get caught out. So there's the big sell at the end, right? But yeah, the maximum fine is £1,000. Very rarely given out, very rarely. The average fine is about 160, 170 quid. Not far off the cost of the telly licence in the first place. So let's say you get away with 3 years of not having it, you're up on the deal, right? But therein lies where this article comes from. So TV licensing work with, I believe, it's 6 PR agencies around the UK. And these PR agencies reach out to people like Richard here to put articles on the website. And that's where this has come from. This hasn't been written by this tech journalist with over 10 years experience. This was sent over by TV licensing. Maybe some money changed hands, maybe it didn't. He got a free article for his website out of it that probably got him some hits, and he would have taken that. That's where this has come from the PR agencies. Now, how can I fight against this? You know, I'm trying to tell the other side of the story. They've got multi-million-pound PR agencies reaching out to all and sundry, all the newspapers, all the debt charities, and now little websites like this. You know, it's hard to fight against it, isn't it? I mean, I feel like I'm winning a bit, but it is hard to fight against it, isn't it? But we've got to give this guy a score, so what do you think? There is some factual information in there, but then it is confused. So I'm going to give him 2 out of 10. Let me know what score you think we should give him down in the comments below. I think the highest score so far was a Sun article that was batting 9 out of 10, which I thought was quite, I think it was 9 out of 10. I have to track back and have a look. I think it was 9 out of 10. Let me know what score you want to give this guy. And I'm going to email him again and try and get him to correct it, because he updated this on the 14th of the 10th, so not that long ago. Not long ago, a week or 2 ago. So I'll reach out to him and see if he wants to actually correct it, and maybe I'll offer to write it for him as well. I bet he don't. What was his name? Richard Goodwin. I don't know how you'd get hold of him. I can't click his name. I'll find a way. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, because that way, hopefully, I'll see you in another video again soon. Ta-da.